morning everyone. Let's continue with the next set of immunodeficiency disorder, which is called as the primary immunodeficiency disorder. Last few previous classes we discussed about the secondary immunodeficiency disorder, which is the disease which we discussed was acquired immunodeficiency disorder. So in today's class we'll discuss about all the primary immunodeficiency disorder. So beginning of the class itself I told you that immunodeficiency meaning any defect in evoking the immune system. That kind of diseases are known as the immunodeficiency diseases, and immunodeficiency disorders are classified into two. One is known as primary immunodeficiency disorder, another one is known as the secondary immunodeficiency disorder. Primary immunodeficiency disorder is due to a genetic defect. It is also called as the congenital defect. Any birth defect, because of that some of the genes will not be functioning properly, the enzyme production if it is not happening properly, that lead to primary immunodeficiency disorder. Whereas secondary immunodeficiency disorder, the cause of this secondary immunodeficiency disorder is during the lifespan when you are exposed to some of the viruses, or because of some surgery, or because of some of the drugs, your immune system, when it becomes weak, that condition is called as the secondary immunodeficiency disorder. We discussed one of the secondary immunodeficiency disorder caused by human immunodeficiency virus, which was AIDS. Okay, today we are going to see all the different categories of the primary immunodeficiency disorder. As I told you, it is a congenital defect. We have to see, or we first will with the pathway, I will just tell you what are the different types of primary immunodeficiency disorder, what we are going to see. This pathway, I think all of you are familiar with it. This is the hematopoiesis pathway, which we discussed in the in the beginning of the session classes. The formation of the blood cell by a pathway called as the hematopoietic pathway. This happens in the bone marrow. All of you know that. I think all are clear with the hematopoiesis process. Hematopoietic stem cells which are there in the bone marrow, they differentiate into two. One is known as the lymphoid progenitor, another one is known as the myeloid progenitor. Lymphoid progenitor differentiate into all the lymphocyte, B cell, T cell and the natural killer cell. Whereas the myeloid progenitor, that differentiate into all the other blood cells, other white blood cells such as monocyte and the granulocytes, eosinophil, basophil and the neutrophil. Okay. Now, whenever there is a defect in the, first we will look into the defect that will happen in the lymphocytes. Lymphoid progenitor, once after the formation of the lymphoid progenitor, if the lymphoid progenitor is not differentiating into the different types of lymphocyte, that is your natural killer cell, T cell and the B cell, that condition is known as the SCID. So the first disease what we are going to discuss now is the SCID. Any idea what is the full form of SCID? SCID stands for Severe Combined Immunodeficiency Disorder. Severe Combined Immunodeficiency Disorder. Severe combined immunodeficiency disorder, from the term itself you will understand that this will affect many cells. So this will, severe combined immunodeficiency disorder will affect the entire set of lymphocyte, that is your natural killer cell, T cell and the B cell. Okay, now you must have heard about Bubble Boy. Have you heard of Bubble Boy? There is a movie also, Bubble Boy, there is a movie. If you are interested you can just watch, or many of you would have watched also. So Bubble Boy, that particular person, he became famous because his name was David Vetter. Okay, David Vetter, he became famous because he was kept in a bubble. Okay, bubble in the sense he was kept in a sterile environment for a longer time to protect him from his parents and doctors. They kept him inside the sterile environment for a longer time to protect him from all the infections. Okay, because there is no lymphocyte, because of that the people will be prone to different types of infection. The person's name was David Vetter. He was born in 1971. For 12 years he captured the attention of the world because he was kept inside the sterile environment, which was considered as a bubble. Okay, but later in 1984, after receiving a bone marrow transplantation, because the only cure for, during that time, the only cure for severe combined immunodeficiency disorder was the bone marrow transplantation. After receiving the bone marrow transplantation, he fell sick in 1984 and he succumbed to death because in the bone marrow what he received, there was Epstein-Barr virus. In that sample, Epstein-Barr virus was there. Because of that infection, he developed different problems, and that led to his death. Okay, so this is a rare disorder caused by the mutation in different genes involved in the development and the function of infection fighting immune cells. So severe combined immunodeficiency disorder, that is due to the defect in several genes, okay, which will involve in the development and functioning of all the different types of immune cells such as natural killer cell, T cell and the B cell. Okay, they will be born, people with this severe combined immunodeficiency disorder, they will be healthy at birth but susceptible to infection in the later childhood life. So they cannot pass their childhood. Life-threatening infections can happen. Viral diseases, pneumonia, diarrhea, all these diseases will be there in them because their immunity is completely low. Now the reason for this severe combined immunodeficiency is, one is a defective ADA. ADA stands for adenosine deaminase. Okay, ADA stands for adenosine deaminase. Okay, this is SCID is either due to the ADA defect or it can be due to PNP defect. Okay, so these are the two reasons for SCID. One is ADA defect, another one is PNP. PNP stands for purine nucleotide phosphorylase. Purine nucleotide phosphorylase. Purine nucleotide phosphorylase. Okay, so these are the major reasons for severe combined immunodeficiency disorder: defect in adenosine deaminase and defect in purine nucleotide phosphorylase. Now, what are these PNP and the adenosine deaminase? Have you heard of these two enzymes? These two enzymes are required for the degradation of the purine. Purine degradation is mediated by these two enzymes, adenosine deaminase and the purine nucleotide phosphorylase. Now, what exactly happens in this disease is especially the adenosine deaminase, that is the enzyme which is involved in the salvage pathway of the purine degradation, which catalyzes irreversible deamination of adenosine to inosine. Okay, so what is the function of adenosine deaminase? This is the enzyme which will function in the salvage pathway of the purine degradation. So there is a salvage pathway of purine degradation, all of you know that. Okay, so these are both the enzymes are involved in the purine metabolism. So ADA especially, that will function in the salvage pathway of the purine degradation and catalyzes irreversible deamination of the adenosine to inosine. Okay, deamination reaction happen, thereby adenosine gets converted to inosine. Now this accumulation of these byproducts that will have a toxic effect which will inhibit the DNA synthesis. Okay, so this will function in the salvage pathway of purine degradation, and whenever there is a defect in this enzyme, there will be accumulation of the byproducts in the cell. Whenever this toxic byproducts accumulate in the cell, that will affect the DNA synthesis. So whenever the DNA synthesis is affected, the cell, the lymphoid progenitor, that cannot get converted to the natural killer cell, T cell and B cell, and even all the other WBC synthesis will be affected because of the accumulation of the toxic byproduct. Now we'll see the function of the PNP, purine nucleotide phosphorylase. So this particular enzyme that will help in the degradation of guanosine to guanine. Okay. Now whenever there is a defect, there will be accumulation of the deoxyguanosine in the cell. Whenever the accumulation happens in the cell, that these are toxic to the cells, especially to the immature lymphocyte. This accumulation of the deoxyguanosine is very toxic. The gene which codes for this PNP, that is located in the chromosome number 14. Okay, both the enzymes they play a vital role for the removal of metabolites of DNA breakdown. Accumulation of this byproduct that will lead to toxic effect in the cell, especially to the lymphocyte, thereby the conversion won't happen. Whenever this conversion won't happen, they will be prone to different types of diseases. Okay, So this is the one of the major disorder that is coming under the severe combined immunodeficiency disorder. They will be prone to all the various diseases because their lymphocytes are completely that is not formed properly. So they cannot survive for a longer time. They will have recurrent infections, poor growth, and a loss of weight. Like a recurrent infection such as pneumonia, ear infection, autoimmune disorder, then the pus formation, defective organs, all those things can be seen in the case of severe combined immunodeficiency disorder. It is due to the defect in adenosine deaminase and also can be due to the defect in polynucleotide phosphorylase enzyme. So that's all about this kid. Severe combined immunodeficiency disorder is done. Now the next one is a defective natural killer cell. So you know that natural killer cell, they have a receptor called as the CD16. What is the function of the natural killer cell? Natural killer cells will identify any defect in the cells which are there in the body. Whenever the cells are infected with viruses or when there is a cancerous growth, natural killer cells will get the signal. The CD16 receptor which is present on the natural killer cell will identify the defect, especially the presence of viral antigen or the cancerous antigen is identified by the CD16 receptor. Thereby, natural killer cells get activated, and you know how the cells will kill the infected cell. Within the natural killer cell, perforins and granzymes will be accumulated. Perforins and granzymes will be released into the cell junction after the identification. Wherever the cell junction is there, perforins and granzymes will be released out. Perforins will pierce the membrane, forms a new ion channel through which granzymes enter inside, damages the DNA, and completely the defective cells will be eliminated from the body by the natural killer cell. And what happens when there is a CD16 defect? When CD16 is not synthesized, what will happen? The natural killer cells cannot function, and the defective cells which are there in the body will not be eliminated from the system, they will be retained. So that is the defect in the natural killer cell, which is called as the CD16 defect. Here you need to write the function of the natural killer cell, which I have explained under the cells of immune system. So the same topic, same points you can include here. When there is a defect, natural killer cells cannot function or they cannot eliminate the cells. Now, the next cell what we are going to see, next type of disease what we are going to discuss here is the DiGeorge syndrome. Okay, DiGeorge syndrome, the gene which codes for this particular defect, that is in the chromosome number 22. Due to this particular defect, there will be thymus development will not be happening. And while discussing about the thymus, the function of the thymus and all, I told you that thymus, the size of the thymus increases till puberty. So people with this DiGeorge syndrome, the thymus development will not be happening properly. So this is an autosomal defect, and thymic development will not be happening. They will have increased susceptibility to different types of diseases. Thymus is not developed properly, and also the parathyroid hormone synthesis won't be happening. So there will be an agenesis of thymus, or thymus will be completely absent in these people. So whenever the thymus is absent, what happens? You can assume what happens when thymus is absent. When thymus is not there, the T cell development will not be happening. So when the T cell development is not happening, cell mediated immune response will not happen, because cell mediated immune response is mediated by the T cytotoxic cell. The development of the T cytotoxic cells happens in the thymus. Humoral immunity will not be happening properly, because for the humoral immunity to happen, what is humoral immunity? B cell get activated, which gets converted to plasma cell. Plasma cell secretes antibodies. For the production of antibody by the plasma cell, it needs cytokines which is secreted by the T helper cell. So when the T helper cell is not there, why T helper cell is not there? Because thymus is not there. Because when thymus is not there, the development of T cytotoxic and T helper cell will not be happening. So when T helper cell is not there, even the humoral immune response will be affected. So both cell mediated and humoral immune response will be affected in the DiGeorge syndrome. So DiGeorge syndrome is nothing but the absence of thymus. Okay, so thymus will be completely absent, agenesis of the thymus, and only treatment for this particular disorder is thymus transplantation. It is possible. Sometimes thymus will be developed as the person grow old. Sometimes the thymus will suddenly develop in some other region, which is called as the ectopic site. It will be developed. and they have created an animal model system for studying this particular disorder, which is called as the athymic mice, or also called as the nude mice. You must have heard about the nude mice. So the mice from which the thymus they have removed, the hair development won't be happening. So if you can just Google the images of the nude mice, you can see that the hair won't be there. The fur of the mice will not be there, like pinkish skin can be seen. So that is in the case of nude mice. That's an animal model system to study about the function of the thymus. Okay. So now the next disease what we are going to discuss now is the Bayer lymphocyte syndrome. So what do you mean by Bayer lymphocyte syndrome? So Bayer lymphocyte syndrome, in this particular disorder, Bayer lymphocyte syndrome, what do you mean by the term Bayer lymphocyte syndrome? The lymphocyte will not be the class 2 MHC molecule development will not be happening. Okay, so when the class 2 MHC development is not happening, now you remember what is the factor which is needed for the formation or the activation of this MHC class 2 molecule. What is the transcription factor? The transcription factor which is needed for the functioning of this the activation of the class 2 MHC molecule is the class 2 TA. Class 2 TA stands for class 2 transcription activator. So the class 2 transcription activator will be absent in this case. So whenever the class 2 transcription activator is absent, the B cell, you know that all the antigen presenting cells will have the MHC molecule, class 2 MHC molecule, whereas class 1 MHC molecule is present on all the nucleated cells. So whenever the antigen presenting cells are the nucleated cells, they don't have the class 2 MHC molecule. Class 2 MHC molecule, when it is absent in the antigen presenting cells, the lymphocyte it will not be getting activated. Okay, so because the presentation happens on the class 2 MHC molecule, whenever the exogenous antigen enters into the body, presentation happens on the class 2 MHC molecule. When they are not there, because of that, the B cell or T cell, they will not get activated. That particular defect is known as the Bayer lymphocyte disorder, this is an autosomal disorder. The gene which codes for this particular disorder is located on chromosome number 16. People with this disorder will have increased susceptibility to different types of infection, defective signaling, and CD4 T cell. CD4 T cell or T helper cell is the one which will identify the class 2 MHC. CD4 T cell number will be completely reduced. Immunoglobulin level also will be decreased. That can be seen in the case of Bayer lymphocyte syndrome. Next one is known as the Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome. Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome, this is another one which is an X-linked disorder, wherein there is a protein which is involved here that is called as the Wiskott-Aldrich protein. Okay, VAS protein they say, Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome protein. Okay, because three different features can be seen. One is thrombocytopenia, that is decrease in platelet count and which lead to bleeding. You can see eczema and skin rashes. And cytoskeletal glycoprotein, this VAS protein, that is a cytoskeletal glycoprotein which is present in the lymphoid cells. Okay, these proteins are called as the cyanophorins. Okay, which will help in the mediation, which will help in the repulsion of the cells with other cells, and VAS protein is required for the assembly of the actin filament. When the VAS proteins are absent, or the assembly of the cytoskeleton, when it is not happening, the cells cannot move. So the movement of the cell is exclusively because of the cytoskeleton assembly. When the cell it is not happening properly, because of that the cytoskeleton assembly, when it is not happening properly, the cells cannot move. Okay, so because Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome, people with Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome, they'll be prone to different types of infections. Okay, they will, because the cells movement or the accumulation of the cells will not be happening properly. That is why you can also see thrombocytopenia, decrease in the platelet count, or the platelet cannot aggregate together because the cytoskeleton protein VAS is absent, which can lead to bleeding. And also you can see the other immune system will be completely defective because the cell movement will not be happening properly in the case of Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome. Next one is, we'll see some of the defects associated with the B cell. One is known as XLA, another one is known as hyper IgM syndrome. Hyper IgM syndrome, already I told you under when we were discussing about the class switching process, I told you about the XLA, X-linked gamma globulinemia. Sorry, the hyper IgM syndrome. And class switching is the process which is required for the synthesis of all the different types of immunoglobulin except immunoglobulin M. Immunoglobulin M will be synthesized without class switching, whereas class switching process is required for the formation of immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin E and immunoglobulin D. You remember the class switching process, there is a switch region. Recombinase enzyme is needed. Recombinase enzyme will do the class switching, a loop formation will happen, and the heavy chain constant region will join with the VDJ region. Thereby all the different types of immunoglobulins will be synthesized. Without class switching, only one immunoglobulin will be synthesized, that is called as the immunoglobulin M. And along with immunoglobulin M, a very less quantity of immunoglobulin D will be synthesized. And this hyper IgM syndrome, that in the case from the term itself you will understand that there will be higher amount of, or the amount of immunoglobulin M will be high, whereas the other immunoglobulin synthesis won't be happening. So in the case of hyper IgM syndrome, the recombinase enzyme which is needed for the synthesis or which is needed for the class switching process, that won't be synthesized properly. Okay, so when this hyper IgM disease is, when it is seen in people, they will have only immunoglobulin M, whereas the other immunoglobulin will be defective. Okay, so this is because of the defect in the recombinase enzyme which is needed for the class switching mechanism. Okay, now the next one is known as XLA. XLA stands for X-linked gamma globulinemia. X-linked gamma globulinemia. X-linked gamma globulinemia, which is also called as Bruton's gamma globulinemia. Now, what do you mean by gamma globulinemia? So, to understand this particular disease, you need to split the word gamma globulinemia. Gamma globulinemia. So, you need to split the word into three: A, gamma globulin, and emia. What do you mean by the term A? A means absence. What is gamma globulin? Your immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin is called as the gamma globulin. And what do you mean by emia? What is anemia? Less number of blood cells. Hemoglobin defect is called as the anemia. Any defect which is there in which is associated with the blood is called as the emia. So gamma globulinemia, A meaning absence, gamma globulin is nothing but immunoglobulin, emia meaning in blood. So what is the, how will you analyze this particular term? Absence of immunoglobulin in blood or in the serum. That condition is known as the gamma globulinemia. This was first identified by physician Dr. Bruton. That is why this disease is called as the Bruton's gamma globulinemia. Fine. Now, this particular disorder is due to a defect in one of the kinase enzyme which is involved in the activation of the B cell. That kinase enzyme is known as the BTK. BTK stands for Bruton's tyrosine kinase enzyme. So, with a small pathway, not in detail, I will just tell you what exactly happens in the case of gamma globulinemia. So, this is the B cell membrane. Okay, membrane of the B cell. So, whenever the B cell receptor, what is B cell receptor? B cell receptor is the immunoglobulin M, membrane bound immunoglobulin M is the B cell receptor. When an antigen binds with the B cell receptor, okay, the immunoglobulin which is there on the membrane will have a cytoplasmic projection. So, the signal will be sent to the cytoplasmic region of the B cell. In the cytoplasmic region, there are various kinase enzymes are there. One is, three different enzymes are associated with the immunoglobulin receptor. They are LYN, FYN and SYK. LYN, FYN and SYK. Okay, all the three kinase enzyme gets activated. This three kinase enzyme in turn, they will activate one more kinase enzyme. This is the B cell membrane that you remember. LYN, SYN and FIN kinase enzyme gets activated. These enzymes, they will activate one more enzyme which is there near the inner leaflet of the plasma membrane. That enzyme is called as the BTK. What is BTK? Bruton's tyrosine kinase, because this disease was identified by a physician, Dr. Bruton. So BTK, Bruton's tyrosine kinase. Now the function of this Bruton tyrosine kinase is phospholipid which is present on the membrane of the B cell, which is called as the phospholipase C gamma. Phospholipase C gamma that get activated by the BTK, and it will split into two. One is known as the diacylglycerol, another one is known as the IP3. Okay, it will phospholipase C gamma, which is there on the plasma membrane, that will undergo hydrolysis into two. One is known as diacylglycerol, another one is known as the IP3. You know the function of IP3. IP3, inositol triphosphate. That is one of the compound which is needed for the release of calcium from the calcium store. What is the calcium store? Endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum is known as the calcium store of the body. So whenever the smooth endoplasmic reticulum get activated by the IP3, calcium will be released out. Calcium comes out of the endoplasmic reticulum combined with calmodulin. Calcium-calmodulin complex will activate some of the transcription factors. Okay, nuclear factor K beta, these are some of the transcription factor. This transcription factor will activate the gene expression in the B cell, thereby the B cell differentiate into plasma cell and the memory cell. Clear how the B cell will differentiate into plasma cell and memory cell? You understood the concept. Whenever the antigen binds with the B cell receptor, or the cytokines which are released by the T helper cell, when it activates the B cell, a signaling mechanism happens. The signaling mechanism is it will activate three kinase enzyme which is there near the vicinity of the receptor, LYN, FYN and SYK, which will activate, this three kinase enzyme will activate one more kinase which is called as the BTK. What is BTK? Bruton's tyrosine kinase. The function of the Bruton tyrosine kinase is they will activate one of the phospholipid which is there on the plasma membrane, which is called as the phospholipase C gamma, which will hydrolyze into two. One is DAG, diacylglycerol, another one is IP3, inositol triphosphate. DAG will be retained in the plasma membrane, whereas IP3 diffuses through the cytoplasm and move towards which organelle? Smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Why do they go there? They are the one which will release the calcium. Calcium is needed for the mitosis process to happen, wherein B cell differentiate into plasma and memory cell. Once the calcium is released out, it will be stabilized by one of the cytoplasmic protein called as the calmodulin. Calmodulin have high affinity for the calcium. Calcium-calmodulin complex, again it will mediate different signaling events, and finally they will activate a transcription factor called as the NFAT, nuclear factor NFK beta, nuclear factor K beta, which will enter into the nucleus and activate the transcription, and thereby the B cell differentiate into plasma and the memory cell. So the final product of this particular pathway is differentiation of the B cell into plasma cell and the memory cell. Now, what happens when BTK is not there? When BTK is not there, the entire pathway won't be happening. Plasma cell production is stopped, thereby antibody synthesis won't be happening. So, agammaglobulinemia, X-linked agammaglobulinemia, that is due to the defect in the Bruton's tyrosine kinase enzyme. So, when this Bruton tyrosine kinase enzyme is not there, when it is absent, immunoglobulin production will not happen. That lead to agammaglobulinemia. You understood the term agammaglobulinemia? A meaning absence, gamma globulin is immunoglobulin, emia something which related to blood. So absence of immunoglobulin in the blood is called as agammaglobulinemia. This is an X-linked disorder. That is why it is called as XLA, and this is also called as the Bruton's agammaglobulinemia, because that was identified by the physician Bruton, because he identified that one small kid was repeatedly getting different types of infections. Even after giving antibody injection, he developed different kind of diseases, and finally he noticed that he started studying on that, and he noticed that there was an absence of this tyrosine kinase, and he named that tyrosine kinase as Bruton's tyrosine kinase enzyme. So that's all about the XLA. So all the disorders which are associated with the lymphocyte is done. Now we'll see what are the defects associated with the other cells of myeloid lineage. One is known as LAD. LAD already I have discussed you when we were discussing about the neutrophil. LAD is meaning leukocyte adhesion deficiency. You remember the inflammatory response. Neutrophils which are there in the blood, they move towards the damaged area by a process called as the chemotaxis. What are the steps in chemotaxis? Neutrophil will get the signal, they will bind to the endothelial cell, they start rolling, and then extravasation and movement towards the tissue. Wherever the damage is there, they move there. After reaching there, neutrophil will do the phagocytosis, trap the bacteria which is there in the damaged area. How do they move? The neutrophil, it will express a receptor, and endothelial cell will also express a receptor. Endothelial cell will express the receptor. What is that receptor called as? E-selectin. What do you mean by E-selectin? Endothelial selectin that express on the endothelial cell, and a receptor which appear on the neutrophil is called as the integrin. So these two receptors, the endothelial selectin and the integrin, will associate together. Thereby the neutrophil will start rolling on the endothelial cell and they move towards the damaged area by a process called as the extravasation. Whenever that adhesion is not happening, neutrophil cannot move towards the damaged area. Neutrophils will be there in the circulation, but it cannot move to the damaged area. That is called as the LAD. LAD stands for leukocyte adhesion deficiency. That is a defect in the integrin protein. The gene which codes for the integrin is located on chromosome number 21. Next one, two more diseases are there. One is CGD, another one is known as the CHS. CGD stands for chronic granulomatous disease. This is a defect in the one of the enzyme which is called as NADPH oxidase. Chronic granulomatous disease, this I think I have told you by under macrophages. Macrophages will kill the cells by two pathways. One is oxygen dependent killing, another one is oxygen independent killing. In the case of oxygen dependent killing, they need an enzyme called as NADPH oxidase. Due to that oxygen burst, respiratory burst, when oxygen enter inside, NADPH oxidase reaction will happen, and which will convert oxygen into different types of free radicals, and then accumulation of the free radicals will kill the cells. All those pathway I have told you. So when that is not happening, NADPH oxidase, when it is absent, phagocytic cells cannot kill the bacteria by oxygen dependent killing. That is called as the CGD, which I have taught you under macrophages. You can just go through that. Another one is known as the CHS. Okay, CHS stands for Chediak-Higashi syndrome. Okay, in the case of CHS, Chediak-Higashi syndrome, it is because of lysosomal trafficking enzyme. So lysosomal trafficking enzyme which is involved here is known as the LYST, lysosomal trafficking enzyme. So this disorder is called as the Chediak-Higashi syndrome. Why is it happening? That is because of the defect in one of the enzyme called as the LYST. The function of this LYST is whenever the phagosomes are formed, phagosome will fuse with the lysosome with the help of this lysosomal trafficking enzyme. This is the one which will help in the binding of phagosome with the lysosome. When this enzyme is absent, the formation of phagolysosome won't happen. Whenever the phagolysosome is not happening, the bacterial degradation won't happen. Thereby, this phagosomes will accumulate in the cell that lead to various disorders. So, this condition is known as the Chediak-Higashi syndrome. That is because of a defect in one of the enzyme which is called as the lysosomal trafficking enzyme, LYST defect. Okay, so that's all about the different types of primary immunodeficiency disorder. Please go through this. If any doubts are there, you can ask me. Thank you so much.